a change in stance as far as the relationship between India and US is concerned. The new word coming in from US President Donald Trump. Let's discuss details. In the last 24 hours, US President Donald Trump has taken a noticeably softer stance on India and Prime Minister Modi. Infamous for his U-turns, Donald Trump has once again changed his tune, this time while praising Prime Minister Modi. Amid the ongoing tensions between India and the United States over tariffs, President Donald Trump said he will always remain friends with Modi, calling him a great Prime Minister. He added that while he does not like what Modi is doing at this particular moment, India and the United States share a special relationship and there is nothing to worry about.
I'll always be friends with Modi. He's great. Prime Minister, he's great. I'll always be friends, but I just don't like what he's doing at this particular moment. But India and the United States have a special relationship. There's nothing to worry about.
This shift comes right after Donald Trump lamented on Truth Social that US had lost India and Russia to the deepest, darkest China. He further said he was disappointed that India was buying so much oil from Russia and claimed he had let them know his displeasure.
I don't think we have. I've been very disappointed that India would be buying so much oil, as you know, from Russia. And I let them know that. And we put a very big tariff on India, 50% tariff, very high tariff. I get along very well with Modi, as you know. He's great. He was here a couple of months ago. In fact, we went to the Rose Garden and the grass was so soaking wet. It was such a terrible place to have a news conference. I said, well, let's use a beautiful white stone emblematic of the White House, okay? And it's been very well received. But we had a news conference on the grass. That was my last news conference I had on the grass because everybody sunk in. You probably sunk in. Every reporter out there, they ruined their shoes. We made that change. It's been a really well-received change.
What Trump has failed to acknowledge, however, is that his own policies, including punitive tariffs, are the real cause of this geopolitical drift at the moment. Over the last few weeks, Trump and his close aide Peter Navarro have launched multiple attacks, in fact, rabid attacks on India.
Has appeared that President Trump wants to continue to compete with China, but at the same time, as I noted before, he also has indicated a desire to seek some type of understanding with China. This is a case of President Trump referring to the deepest, darkest China. He's using very charged negative rhetoric against China, but what he says today could be very different from what he says tomorrow. So maybe it's not that much of a surprise that there has not yet been a reaction from either India or China. Maybe there'll be a reaction from Beijing, but I think that this all works to Beijing's advantage, quite frankly, right? China is, of course, looking to start out a new type of world order that would entail countering the United States. And if the president is saying that, India, that the U.S. has lost a key partner to China, I mean, that certainly is a net positive for Beijing. But again, what he says today could be very different from what he says tomorrow. I mean, U-turns, this is something that Trump does, and it's whatever happens to be on his mind at any one particular time. And we've seen clearly he's very upset about some components of China's policy, whether you're talking about its recent efforts to use its rare earths as leverage over trade partners, or other commercial policies of China.
Well, after Donald Trump praised Prime Minister Narendra Modi, calling him a great Prime Minister, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also finally broken his strategic silence, responding directly to US President Donald Trump's recent friendly remarks that came amid rising trade tensions. In a post made on social media profile X, Prime Minister Modi said he deeply appreciates and fully reciprocates President Donald Trump's sentiments and positive assessment of India-US ties. Prime Minister Modi also called the bilateral relationship very positive and forward-looking, reaffirming the comprehensive and global strategic partnership between the two nations. This is Prime Minister Modi's first public statement on Trump since the US imposed back-to-back tariffs on Indian imports, citing India's continued purchase of discounted Russian oil as the primary reason. The combined 50% duty has triggered sharp criticism coming in from New Delhi, with India calling the measures unjustified. Now, Prime Minister Modi's statement comes after Donald Trump, while addressing reporters at the White House on Friday, struck a conciliatory tone. He said, "I'll always be friends with Modi. He's a great Prime Minister, but I just don't like what he is doing at the moment." His remarks were seen as a public signal of personal respect but growing strategic discomfort. Modi's response was diplomatic but firm, appears to be aimed at stabilizing ties and keeping the focus on shared long-term interest, especially as both the nations continue to negotiate a bilateral trade deal.